if you're not patient enough, I don't think marriage is for you. Trust me. If you are not a patient person, like people used to say, I can't deal, I don't have that time, all those plenty talk. Guy, if you are not patient, trust me, I don't think marriage is for you. Like, you really need to go down. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to NENEVERSE. If this is the first time you are seeing this beautiful face, you are highly welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified whenever I drop my videos. Don't forget to like this video and always comment. And if you are my returning subscriber, you know I love you so much, guys. You are the reason I am constantly doing this and consistently doing this. Thank you for keeping me here. Without further ado, let's just go right into the video of today, which is the last episode from the series Reasons Why 50% of All Marriages End Up in Divorce. Let's just go right into the video. Number one reason why 50% of all marriages end up in divorces is lack of respect for your partner. Lack of respect for spouses, or lack of respect for your partner. Now, mutual respect, for me, I feel like mutual respect is one of the cornerstones of a successful marriage. Now, when the mutual respect is lost, or when there is loss of mutual respect, it could lead to a very stressful and a very unhappy marriage. And this could as well lead to the marriage hitting the rock. Now, when you don't respect your partner, when your partner's opinions don't matter to you, when they have been constantly communicating things to you and you seem not to get it, you seem not to respect their opinions, you seem not to respect what they stand for or what they believe in, that marriage could hit the rock, right? Now, the signs of someone or a partner who disrespects the spouse is when you are constantly nagging. You're nagging in the relationship. You are always nagging. You are always complaining. I feel like I'm talking to myself right now, because guys, I love to complain. I know it's a very bad habit and I've been trying to work on it. When you are constantly nagging or complaining, the person might get tired of the whole thing. Like, you are not nagging for a particular reason, maybe for someone to change, or but you are nagging constantly for maybe very trivial issues that you can just pass on information to your partner and the person gets it. But you just choose to nag, you just choose to complain. When their opinions don't matter to you, when you are constantly putting your partner down, right? You are outside, you're trying to have probably a conversation, you don't speak well of your partner outside, you don't present them well to other people, maybe your family, your friends and all that, you are constantly putting them down. That is you disrespecting your partner. When you are constantly threatening to end the relationship, or constantly threatening to end the marriage, you are disrespecting your partner, and that could lead to divorce. When you are constantly criticizing this person, every time you have something to criticize them about, either the way they talk or the way they speak, or maybe the way they walk, or the way you just criticize, and you don't criticize with love. You're not criticizing to correct, you're just criticizing to bring them down. So that's it's you disrespecting your partner, and that disrespect could lead to that marriage hitting the rock. So disrespect is one of the reasons why 50% of all marriages end up in divorce. Number two reason why 50% of all marriages end up in divorce is introduction of third parties. This is a very serious one for me. Like, third parties in relationships, third parties in marriages have been a no-no for me. And I feel like this is one reason why a lot of people or a lot of marriages hit the rock. There's actually something about third parties, right? Third parties could either make or mar the institution of marriage or a relationship. Now, a lot of marriages are in crisis today because of interference, in bringing in third parties in the relationship or in the marriage. That's why a lot of marriages, spouses have divorced their partners because of interference of third parties. These third parties could be in-laws, it could be friends, colleagues, it could be pastors. This one, It could be your pastor. Like, I've heard like pastors tell people what to do in their marriages, and then sometimes I just sit there and wonder how. Why would you tell me how to run my marriage? Why would you tell my husband how we should run our marriage? Yeah, you have a very high, you are a very what's it called, a high profile person in our lives. Maybe because you have a church, you run a church, you're a spiritual figure and all. But there should be a boundary to that. You should not go ahead telling people how to run their marriages because you are a spiritual head. You can give in your opinions, advise them on how, you know, they can run their marriage, but don't put it on them. Don't make it seem like it has to be that way because you are a spiritual head, or because you are an in-law, you're a mother or you're a father or a sister or a brother. You want to interfere in your sibling's relationship with his wife or with her husband. That has led to crises in marriages, and that has actually led to divorces in marriages. You know, mothers are coming to their family, their children's houses or the spouse's houses without prior information or prior, you know, notice. You just appear in the house. I don't know, it works for people. Actually, it works for a lot of people, but I feel like third parties, as much as third parties can make a marriage work, it could also mar a marriage. It could destroy a marriage if it's not well taken care of. Also, interference of third parties, you know, should be like one of the prenuptial agreements or prenuptial things we should talk about in marriage. Who we are to let into our house, how they are to come, when they are to come, when they are to leave. There should be boundaries to these things. If not, these people can come, you know, mix up things for the couple, and then crises might come up, and that has led to a lot of marriages hitting the rock. Yes, so introduction or interference of third parties can lead to divorces or has led to marriages hitting the rock. Another reason why 50% of all marriages end up in divorces is when you marry someone who is not your friend. This cannot even be overemphasized. I would always ask this question: how do you marry someone who doesn't know you, who you don't know, who is not your friend, who you cannot, you know, someone who doesn't really know you, someone who is not your friend? Now, friendship is one of the characteristics of a very happy home or a very lasting marriage. Like, if you research well, you would find out that relationships or marriages built on friendship or the basis of friendship, you know, they have higher percentage or higher chances of lasting longer, you know, because these people have been friends, or they would have known, you know, they would have known the things they want and the things they don't want. They would have actually known each other to an extent to be able to say, we want to do this marriage thing, and to an extent we will be able to run this marriage thing without issues. Not like issues wouldn't come up, but it's lesser when this person is your friend. This person knows you, you know this person, you can communicate your feelings without feeling judged, or without feeling that this person would judge you, without being, you know, criticized. Because obviously, maybe when you marry someone who is not your friend, when you make some mistakes, the person is ready to jump on that mistake to abuse you, to say some things to you because they are not your friend. But your friend is someone who understands you, understands that, okay, you can make certain mistakes and I would understand that mistake on the basis of this friendship, and we can also run with that. So when you end up with someone who is not your friend, or you marry someone who is not your friend, it could lead to marriages hitting the rock. It has led to a lot of marriages hitting the rock. You can cope with each other, you understand each other to an extent, you are open to this person because you know that this person is your friend, this person can tolerate some things about you, this person knows some things about you. Actually feel like I can't marry someone who is not my friend. I always say this even to my friends, like to people that know me. Yeah, I'm going to, like, there are a lot of people that might be in your DMs talking about love and all of that, but at the end of the day, I feel like you should choose your friend, someone who knows you to a very large extent, and someone who would tolerate you to a very large extent, someone who would stand by you, someone who knows you totally. There's nothing as beautiful as that, trust me, when you marry your friend. And the thing is, when you come on social media, people will be like, I'm marrying my friend, I'm getting married to my best friend. Then my question is, what happens in the middle of the marriage? Does the friendship just end? Do you guys just throw in the towel? Like, what happened to the marriage? What happened to the friendship that you guys were talking about in the beginning? I married my friend, I'm ending up with my friend, I'm so excited and all. What happened to that friendship? Why are we now talking about divorce? Why are we tired? Why are we not friends anymore? What happened to that friendship? Right? So it's not just about talking or saying I'm marrying my friend. How have you guys built this friendship? Are you really friends with this person? When you hear stories of couple fighting, you hear stories of couple abusing the other person or abusing each other, you ask yourself some questions. These people are saying they are friends, right? So did it get to a point where they had to pause the friendship and then become enemies and then come back to being friends? I don't know. Or marrying someone who is not your friend could lead to divorce. It has led to 50% of marriages hitting the rock when you don't marry a friend or you marry someone who is not your friend. Another reason why 50% of all marriages end up in divorces is lack of patience. I should have actually talked about this, like it should have been one of my top 3 of reasons why 50% of all marriages end up in divorce, because this is a very serious one. Lack of patience. I know I'm a very impatient person. That's why when I'm making some of these videos, I talk to myself. I literally talk to myself. Like, I learn from these videos. I learn when I put down these things and I read them to myself. I'm like, okay, I'm also learning from this thing. Because patience, a lot of people don't have patience. A lot of us don't have patience, and it's something you can work on. It's something you should work on. Patience. If you're not patient enough, I don't think marriage is for you. Trust me. If you are not a patient person, like people used to say, I can't deal, I don't have that time, all those plenty talk. Guy, if you are not patient, trust me, I don't think marriage is for you. Like, you really need to go down. Like, you really need to go down very low. You need to be patient. You need to be really patient. Like, if you are not patient, if you're not patient enough, I don't think you can do the marriage thing, because this is like one of the essential skills to running a home or to having a very successful marriage. Patience. Yes. So now, without patience, I don't know how you'll be able to talk about your life or your marriage with your partner if you do not have patience. I don't know how you'll be able to understand or listen effectively to your partner if there is no patience. I don't know how you'll be able to run a home if there is no patience, right? So patience is like one of the most essential skills to running a marriage or running a home. And lack of patience can be very, very destructive. It could lead to a lot of damages. I'm going to give you an instance. Someone calls you and tells you that I saw your partner somewhere. He's just walking into a hotel with some girl, and then the person takes pictures and sends to you, and that is it. You are not even patient enough to wait for your partner to get home. You're not even patient enough to call this person to make your verifications. You don't have that patience. You are already acting on what someone told you. You're already, boiling. You're ready to go out, break their windscreen. You're ready to go out. You're ready to burn their documents. You're ready to do drastic things because that patience is not there. So what happens when you are done with all of those destructive measures, and then your partner comes back, and then you find out that what you heard or what you saw wasn't exactly what it is or what it was? What happens? Like, how do you take back your words? How do you chew your words? How do you undo the things you have done? Lack of patience could or can be really drastic. Like, it can lead to you being destructive. It can lead to you doing things that you would regret after you've done them. And imagine doing those things to your partner and you cannot undo them. It could lead to marriages hitting the rock. It has led to a lot of marriages hitting the rock. It has actually brought crisis in a lot of marriage. Lack of patience. If you don't have patience enough to tolerate someone, you know, like I said, I feel like I'm talking to myself as I'm making this video. Really, I feel like I'm talking to myself, because patience is a very, 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 very big virtue. Like, everyone should have. If you want to do the marriage thing, you have to be patient enough. If you are not patient enough, marriage may not really be as successful as you want it to be. So yeah, lack of patience is one of the reasons why 50% of all marriages hit the rock or end up in divorces. And another reason why 50% of all marriages end up in divorces is sex. Yeah, I'm sure you are asking how. And I've actually heard a lot of people say that no matter the style you give to a man, no matter the kind of sex you want to give to a man, it does not keep a man. It does not keep a relationship. Well, I agree with that, but God actually made that for marriage, right? So I feel like you giving your partner that sex, you not denying your partner sex, it's you also like keeping to the part of the scriptures or part of God's word that has asked you to do that. That's like your partner's rights. It's even one of the things that they will tell you that this is something you should not deny your partner. So imagine you are not providing this thing for your partner. Imagine you're not doing this thing, or giving them the time when they want this and you're not giving it to them. It could lead to divorce when they have constantly asked, or you are constantly saying you are fasting, or you're not in the mood, or all this kind of stuff. You're doing it unnecessarily, or you're doing it constantly, and the person is getting it from somewhere else. I don't think the person would want the marriage to continue, right? I don't think the person would even want that marriage to continue. So lack of sex or denying your partner sex might be one of the reasons why a lot of marriages have hit the rock, or 50% of all marriages have hit the rock. If you have to learn new skills, if you have to learn new skills, you should learn new skills. If that's what your partner wants, please, baby, give it to your partner, right? So the last thing I would like to say before ending this video and this series, one of the reasons why 50% of all marriages end up in divorces is when the marriage is not built on a godly foundation. When you start a marriage and the marriage is not built on a godly foundation, I don't know how that marriage wants to work. I really do not know how that marriage wants to work. What's going to frail that marriage? That marriage is like the car. So what's the frail? What's going to frail the marriage to keep moving? I kind of feel like it's the foundation you have built, or the foundation on which that marriage has been built, and that's a godly foundation. So a lot of marriages have hit the road because they do not even have any relationship with God. They don't see God's face. Like, first of all, this marriage we have been talking about is a foundation, or it's an institution built or talked about by God. It's what God wants. He said a man would leave his father, his mother, and cling on to his wife, right? And then he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Like, this is God's words. And for this marriage thing to work, if you don't carry God along, if you don't bring God into it first and even afterwards, and even as it is still going, I don't see the possibility of the marriage lasting for a very long time. I know that someone watching this video right now will be like, how about people who don't believe in God? They have marriages running and is successful. I don't agree with you to an extent that a marriage that's not built on a godly relationship would last or run for a very long time without issues. Ask those people. If you want to run a marriage, or you want to do this marriage thing, I feel like you should carry God on your head, for real. Like, I feel like, because this would actually help, because if anything happens along the line, you can always go on your knees and then you remind God that I actually sought your face before going into these things, so you need to help me right now. But when you did not invite God, you didn't carry God along. I don't know who you want to call. Third parties, right? That would eventually mar the marriage. I don't know who you really want to call. Do you want to take the measures in your hands? Do you want to take the actions, or yourself? So a marriage that's not built on the foundation of God or a godly foundation could lead to a divorce, or could lead to marriages. It could lead to a divorce, or it could lead to the marriage hitting the road. So this is the last episode of this series, reasons why 50% of all marriages end up in divorce. I'm using this medium to say thank you so much for watching, following the series and following the episode one after the other. So this is the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll be seeing you guys on my next one. Who knows what we're going to talk about? Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment. I want to see the comments, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for keeping me here, you guys. Thank you. Have a very good day. See you next time on the next one. Bye.